We should open by just stating briefly before the meeting begins. Two of our council members were not going to be able to make it. And as a result of that, we sort of changed what we're going to present in the meeting. We're just going to present some past information. Since neither of the other two can be here, Lisa Kriebel or Councilmember Hartman, we will give a more forward-looking presentation at the next one. We're just going to focus on sort of what we've done. So for those listening at home that heard our presentations at council, it's not going to vary much from that. But this is really to afford council information, and we only have one council member here. So go ahead, Becky, with that, let's begin.
Okay. So thank you everybody that is here today. And I'd like to welcome Denise as our new council member for being on the Public Works Committee, which is awesome. We're excited to have you here.
Yes, and I will say that the other new members are Lisa Kriebel and it will be Rich Hartman that are now a part of the Public Works Committee. And thank you for coming. Thank you for being able to make it.
So pretty much we're just going to go over what we went over at the city council meeting this week, talk about 2024 accomplishments. You went first then. Do you want me to go first this
If
time?
you want to go first now, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Sure. Because I do have one new thing I'm going to throw out there. So go ahead.
I do too, actually, because I missed it when
Okay.
I went over them before. So the Pocket Park, we partnered with an amazing group of volunteers, Defenders of the Coast, the VFW, and Sons of the American Revolution was a big sponsor for the Pocket Park. We had materials donated and also discounted from Arrow Lumber for that as well, which I neglected to mention on Monday. So, but those were great. The new sign is up, and then that rolls right into the carved sculptures that are up around town. The razor clam sculpture went up in the Pocket Park, and then the whale, that's such a big piece. That was interesting feat to get that installed there in the roundabout.
And you're aware of the silhouette, or am I catching you completely off guard
What's
on
the
that?
silhouette?
A veterans group has a silhouette, a metal silhouette of a soldier who is kneeling and the respect for his fallen comrades, and they have asked the mayor for permission to put that out there. So we are looking at moving forward on that.
At the Pocket Park.
At the Pocket Park.
Okay, and actually Veterans Memorial Park.
Yes, it is Veterans
Yeah,
Memorial Park,
yeah.
so that's why we're looking at putting it there.
That's awesome.
But nothing's been finalized yet. So a sneak preview for those of you listening at home.
We should update that to the Veterans Memorial.
Yeah,
Park.
yeah, because that really is what it's called.
Yeah.
You can call it Veterans Memorial Pocket Park or whatever, however you want. Yeah.
Okay, and then Sasquatch went up, and I've seen lots of people taking pictures with family and friends during different events. So that's definitely a really fun one. The Davy Jones that's pointing to the beach, he's pretty cool. And then the pelican that's up at the entrance to the city gates. The mayor and I were talking the other day, and the streets department did the installation on those, and they really did a great job because we've had obviously some wicked windstorms and everything's still standing. The convention center soffits are 40% complete. Purcell painting will be back in April to finish the job, and it'll be another 2 to 4 months, just depending on weather for how they get started in April and how long that's going to take. They will again work around events that we have, especially if they go into, June and July busy months. They'll be working around that. Convention center HVAC unit replacements is 95% complete. We've got one custom hood that is still being made to hook up that very last unit. And we have the drawings from the engineer for that. And I actually have an email in my inbox today from Apex Mechanical who's doing the work, and they're about ready to get it scheduled. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, that'll be done. The street department did the Oyhut ditch clean out this year, which saved a ton of the ARPA money that we had left. So that was great to have them do that. We did a fish exclusion training for that work, which we all learned a lot about how to do that. And we do have a ton of stickleback in the Oyhut ditch. And then we also found some mud minnows. Got that training and are competent to do that going forward. Cobble berm phases 2 and 3 were done. Brumfield did the kind of phase 2, and now we are working with Northwest Rock because they came in with the best cobble bid and labor bid for that. So continuing that work still. We began the black slime water testing and reports for that. Next Tuesday, we are having a company come out to work with Ricky, and they're going to test different chemical treatments for treating that. And the goal is that day we'll know which chemicals are the right treatment for it. And then over the course of the next month, we'll figure out what the actual right dosage is. And then go from there to work a cost with this vendor. And when that vendor's contract is out, it's typical for Public Works to put a bid out for the chemicals for the water treatment, so.
Becky, how many households are impacted by the black slime?
We don't have an exact number of how many.
So I'll give you an interesting anecdotal information
Yeah.
that I have not shared with you. So when I first moved down to Ocean Shores into that house, I had it. After I ran the water for about a month, it went away entirely. Never saw it again. However, when I came back from vacation this time, and I was gone about 18 days total, I turned on the faucet taps and there was rings of black slime around the outsets of the taps. Ran the water for a day, never saw it again. So it's something about not using the water, or there's not enough pressure getting in the water. I mean, but it's something that as I use it, it's never a problem. It's when I let it sit. And so I don't even know how many of our homeowners, I know there are a few that are in their homes full time, are people who are coming back like after 3 months of being out of the area, turning it on and having the same problem. So this is what we're looking into, but that's just anecdotally what happened to me. And I was very surprised when I came back this last time. I'm like, I recognize this substance. This is the one we've been talking about, but I hadn't seen it ever since I started using it.
And we have it at my house, and Ricky, they upped the chlorine quantity after we did the testing at 7 of the houses. Mine was one of them. They increased the chlorine quantity, and I didn't see it. I didn't see the black slime at all for, I don't know, 8 or 9 months. And it's back now, though.
So I
Yeah.
don't, time of year,
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know.
And also we thought, things like, well, if I have it, my neighbor should have it because we're on the same lines. My neighbors don't have
They
it.
don't have it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's everything that we thought we could pinpoint. This is what we couldn't.
And that's why it's taken so long, because we can't identify the one common constant. So we've turned it over to, it was originally looked at by Mike Pachowski, and I can't remember his group,
Terraphase.
Terraphase, and now, of course, it's being looked at by SCJ
SCJ
Alliance.
Alliance, yeah.
So just so everyone knows at home, that's what's happening.
Yeah, and we used to leave our house for 5-6 weeks at a time and never saw it.
Never, no, it's really, there's just no constant.
Old house, new house.
Yeah, we've looked at everything, like there's just all the variables we tried to factor in. But anyway, go ahead and continue.
Next is, the sidewalk was installed to connect the Shiloh sidewalk to the Dune Trail and ADA. There's like the ADA yellow ramp for going up there, and then we'll have official ADA markings and parking spaces completed in the spring. When also the street department will be putting the diagonal parking places back along the Shiloh that used to be there. So it's gonna be nice to have marked parking there, because I think there's still some questions about where people can park. This is what I forgot before. We did the Chinook Park Playground with a great group of volunteers this summer. Added the sidewalk and the wheelchair swing, the sidewalk to the wheelchair swing and to the park, as well as the new 6-foot fence at Chinook Park. So those were great to get done there. And the new city gate sign has been installed. It looks great. The old sign is currently drying out in the Public Works yard inside and will get housed at the Coastal Interpretive Center along with the plaque that goes with it. So that'll be nice to get up in the spring as well. The Arrow Lumber culvert was finally replaced. That was a great one. We worked with Simmons and Sons on that, and it's the first time we've worked with them. They did an awesome job. They were good to work with. The Chance Beach Approach tsunami siren was relocated from down in the dunes to up by the bus stop. And we worked with Washington State Emergency Management and the county on that. And Lake and Watershed Management, we got a harvester on the water, other than the Freshwater Waste Corporation harvester for the first time this year. And we're super happy with the results of that or the treatment this year, and are definitely looking forward to the Freshwater Waste Master Plan to tell us this canal needs this canal needs that. And that's gonna be, Scott will talk about it too, but short-term and long-term planning for that. So we'll be looking for grants that are available, which there are some because we've seen them. So we'll be applying for things like that to help get the waterways cleaned up. The annual striping is about 90% acceptable. No, 10% acceptable, 90% not acceptable. And they're gonna come back out and redo it in the spring. They did confirm that their machine was not working properly, and then they decided to finish the job anyway. So they're gonna come back out and do it the right way. And 65% of the construction documents for the tsunami tower are complete, which is awesome. Plan for that is we are going to finish up to the design phase will be done, and then we'll finish up with the reimbursements with the current BRIC grant that we have for that. We'll be giving that money back that we didn't finish, and then applying for another BRIC grant because the tower is so much more expensive than what was anticipated with our original BRIC grant. So we're applying for another one, and FEMA has the City of Ocean Shores on, I think it's called the Pathfinder program, to work with Tim, who is our grant manager and has really stepped up and has been writing grants, and he's doing an awesome job. So that's just super exciting to see. But they're gonna be working with him every step of the way, FEMA is, for their own BRIC grant, because they want to see this tower done. They would like to see a tower a year installed in Ocean Shores, because we need 20, which is way more than any other town or city along the coast needs. And
Well, and these are FEMA and Washington Emergency
Yeah.
Management estimates, and they think, I believe, I might get this number partially wrong, so they're 44 or 46. So they're recommending 44 tsunami towers for the entire coast, and roughly half of those they
Yeah.
think should go in Ocean Shores, simply because of our topography. I doubt we're ever gonna see 20, but it would be good if we got 5 or 6. And I'm saying this very honestly, because all it's gonna take is one night in the middle of the night. There's going to be a shift of a sea plate out at sea. There's going to be an earthquake, and we're going to have about 30 to 45 minutes before a wave. It could be a small tsunami, but if it's a major one from the Cascadia event and it's right off at sea and it's anything above 8.5 or anything along those lines, we could be looking at like 100 feet of water coming right at us. At which point Ocean Shores will no longer be recognizable. And I don't mean that to scare anyone. It's just as a possibility. And if you look at the scientific studies of when that is due, it is like a 30% chance that will happen in the next 70 years, according to seismologists who studied past models on the coast. So, I just don't want to be the city administrator if that happens. That says, oh, we never had a plan, we never considered it, because we have to consider it. We just do.
that ends my list. Your turn.
Okay, and on that slightly down note, I have 4 things that I did not cover at the council meeting, and sort of like lists of accomplishments or things that are changing that I will update you on now. And 2 of those I did not update you on because they weren't even ready to be updated on at the time. So things change a lot in the city really quickly. The one thing I forgot to tell people at council is for 25 years, State Parks has held the lease on our bathrooms that are located at Chance a la Mer. State Parks no longer wanted those. They no longer wanted to bid on them. They were kind of done with it, and they've turned them back over to us. So as of December of this year, we have taken that up. We are being careful in how we manage it. Now, I've seen a few complaints on Facebook, I'll be honest, that are like, they're closed at night. Why are they closed at night? They're closed at night because when we come in the mornings and the police do sweeps, people are sleeping in them or doing drugs in them. So we really have to mitigate that possibility. We do not want that to become homeless center station. So we're looking at a couple of things. We are looking at perhaps time locks that would be put on them, so we don't have to do opening and shutting every day. We are going to, in the spring, with the help of the beautification committee and Public Works, re-landscape and repaint that entire building. We want to make it look nicer. That's the flagship approach, the beach approach to enter the city of Ocean Shores. We want to rip out the wood to the extent we can that's around it. It does serve as a windbreak, and we will still need some type of windbreak there, but it's also something where people can go behind and use drugs illicitly or sleep in there. It's also a safety risk for ladies and men who want to use the restroom at night, that someone could theoretically approach them and they would be not seen by anyone because that shelter's there. So we're going to be looking at this kind of a strategy to how do we clean it up? But through the winter months, we're only going to be opening one side and using a few doors. We are going to look at the possibility of what's going to happen when there are clam, the clam digs because that might be the one night we do leave it open all night long. Because people are coming down here late, they're working. We got complaints, we have seen those, that the lad during the last clam dig, people are like, well, there's no bathrooms down there. So it's just something we're gonna look at doing, but there's a reason that they're shut at night. And it's because we really don't want people thinking, oh, that's a great place to go live in Ocean Shores, because it's not. So, but anyway, the city has taken those over. I have very, very good news to report. All of the parties that are associated with the berm on the south end of the city, where we're building the sacrificial berm, have now signed. Everyone from the Quinault Indian Nation all the way up have now signed, giving us permission to build this berm. So Northwest Rock was on the scene today, starting deliveries. Marshall will be supervising this project along with Becky on the project management aspects, but all of the legal niceties are done. Commerce sent us some very nice letters with regards to the easements and trespassing on the berm and things along that line. So there is going to be work down there at some point. We don't know exactly what point. Damon Point will be closed for a couple of weeks as we put in that rock, because it's going to go all the way down. But this is going to be a massive benefit to the citizens of Ocean Shores. It will potentially save us millions of dollars of city infrastructure. It will allow us to save all the homes that are down there. And I am extremely pleased that Marshall had the patience and the diligence to go through and put this together, along with Thorn Ward and others that really tried to mobilize that community and get everyone to sign. So that is very, very good news for the city. Yes. Another one you did not know about, because we did not have that meeting until Wednesday after the Tuesday council meeting, is the extension of our fire break. Mayor Eldwin and our fire department, and I would have been at this meeting myself, but I had a different meeting that I was attending, met with Vicky Rains, and we're going to be working with the county. And the idea is that we would create a 100-foot fire break that would run from roughly where the High Dunes Trail ends all the way south down through Sand Dune in that area. This is going to require a big permitting fight. This is why we're bringing the county involved in it, because we do not have really the wetland credits available through the Weather Max Mitigation Bank to do a lot of substituting. We only have 1.6 credits, and we're going to get 3 more remaining. And that would probably take up all of them, if not more than all of them, to do this. We know it absolutely has to be done. We watched the Lahaina fire, we've watched the Palisades fire. There is, acre upon acre of wax murderable and flammable material out there. We know that our winds blow in directly off the Pacific Ocean most of the time at that. So it's just, on any hot summer day, someone on July 5th or July 6th with leftover fireworks or whatever it is going to start a fire out there. And under the wrong circumstances, it could go very, very bad, very quick. So the mayor has made this a top priority of his. He really wants us to push this through. We're going to need the county's help with getting all the permits from ecology to do this, because they're not going to want us to do it because we're going through wetlands. But for health and life safety reasons, it really has to be done. So I just want to let you know that's a fight the city is going to be engaged in the future, and I want everyone to be aware of that. And then lastly, something we did not discuss at council, but something that Becky and I was working on today. A CTP grant, which is a Community Technical Partners grant, was awarded to the city for the a review of the remnant jetty and navigational, what obstacles it poses for navigation for the port and for the our U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Coast Guard, et cetera. We're trying to do that because our long-term goal to not just mitigating the erosion, but stopping the erosion and reclaiming land is the reconstruction of the remnant jetty. And if we can demonstrate to the Army Corps, if we can demonstrate to the port that this would help their navigational channel, because all that sand that's getting sucked out is getting sucked out to the navigational channel, we may be able to get the money long-term to fix that. But in addition to that CTP grant, which we have already been awarded, we are working on a secondary Community Technical Partners grant, and Becky and I were just finalizing this today. Marshall will have the final review, and we are doing this in collaboration with the city of Westport. And the idea is they have 4 issues where they have large erosion issues in the city of Westport. We've identified 6 areas where we have erosion concerns within the city of Ocean Shores. And so rather than both of us trying to individually do this and trying to lobby our legislature and get the financial support we need to address this issue, we are going to tie this together, both cities, and then John Shaw, Ocean Shores, and Westport from the Marine Advisory, our MRC, the Marine Resource Council. We are going to all go to the county, and the county has agreed to spearhead this. So it will be the county going to the legislature. It will be the county moving forward, asking for the funds and asking for the permitting that is necessary to address those issues. And we just think because Westport and Ocean Shores have so many similarities in these ways, by partnering together, we're more likely to obtain the resources we need, because we can call it like the Twin Harbors erosion mitigation problem. So that is what we're looking for money for. We don't know where this is going to go. It's being coordinated in part by John Shaw and the University of Washington, through SAMPISA, and I cannot remember the Sea Grant and Washington Sea Grant. So we're tying in technical experts, we're tying in the municipalities, and we're going to let the county go to bat for us in terms of getting funding. So those things I did not discuss, and the things that I will just briefly remind everyone that I said at council, just in case you missed it. Ocean Shore Streets Master Plan that was executed by Kimberly Horn. It's designed to look at the conditions of our road network. We are still in receipt of a final version.
Yep.
So do we need to sit down, you and I,
We do,
and go over that?
We need to do that and then then we'll have a meeting with them.
Okay, so let us schedule a next week between
I'll get with you on
yourself,
Tuesday.
myself, the
Yeah.
mayor, and others,
Yep.
and we can just have maybe Alex.
He should
We
definitely.
should definitely be a part of it. So part of the city, we will look at that. We will get back our comments to them because we have not done that yet. And then they will issue us a final version of the streets master plan. I also mentioned at council that the fresh waterways master plan, which she referenced earlier in our conversation today with Herrera Environmental Consultants, are looking at the 2 big issues, which are the harmful and noxious algae blooms that we have, and how to deal with that overabundance of vegetation that both comes to the surface, but has also been settling on the bottom of our canals for years. A reminder that there will be a stakeholders meeting with the consultants from Herrera on February 6th at the Ocean Shores Convention Center at 6 o'clock, and they will go over all of their preliminary findings with us and what they have found so far. And we can start to develop strategies based on that information. And then lastly, this was begun in 2023, but finalized in 2024, the city capital facilities plan that we received back from Amoresco, and it included a comprehensive review of all of the city's buildings, estimated costs for fixing those structures, in addition to a list of priorities and what they think needs to be done in every given year. I believe several of our council members have been trained on that Amoresco software. Is that not correct? Or-
Information went out to everybody, but if you don't go in within
And
2
actually
months,
play
you
with it?
lose your information, so.
But did we not have
We
a
can-
training for 3 of our council members that were on the Public Works Committee last time?
We did.
So maybe we should do
Do
that
it.
again.
Yeah.
With our new council members that are on the Public Works Committee, give them an overview. That way you have the information that you need.
It's a really good idea.
And yeah, let's just plan on doing that. So that way 6 out of 7 council members will have seen it, will have looked at it, and so we can do that. And it just gives you a really good vantage point of, what repairs are going to come up? What are these estimated costs going to be? What are our key priorities in terms of infrastructure? And that's really all I've got, unless council has.
Played with that software.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they need a refresh.
Yeah, even I, if you don't use it, you just completely forget how to use it. So, any questions from council?
Have you gotten any indication from Herrera yet or anything on, waterways?
What they're gonna talk about, mainly their focus on February 6th is what they found during their sampling reports, because they're finishing up running the tests and all of those things, because she was back even next week collecting storm water. So. Nothing initial,
Because that seems to be it is one of the biggest concerns,
yeah.
certainly. And, after the last, cleaning, if you can call it that.
I know.
Yeah, that was not to our expectations and our standards.
Yeah.
So we'll just say that. And we don't know why entirely, but we don't want that to be repeated.
I guess the other question I have is, I was taking notes on all of these projects. Do you have some, either a spreadsheet or a Microsoft project that we could get access to?
Yes, absolutely. It's not updated. I have to make a lot of updates on it for going forward for next year, and Richard has asked for it as well, so you guys will get that updated.
So once we update it, we'll just send it to all council. How's that? You can put it on the website.
We'll also bring it to council quarterly. We typically will bring it to council typically every quarter too. So, yeah.
It's just been a lot. We've been pushing a lot
Yeah,
of things.
I mean, it's amazing, everything that's. And doing the grant with Westport really sounds brilliant,
Mhm.
especially with all of the parties involved.
Well, it makes,
Having the county.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
more lobbyists
It
that you
makes
have,
sense,
when you have the
yeah.
whole when you have the two biggest cities, like the coastal based cities on the coast. Working in partnership, we both have the same issues with erosion. This adds a lot of possibility for what we can accomplish together.
Yeah, and the fishing industry in West,
Exactly. Mhm.
as well as the port looking,
Yeah.
no other questions.
All right. Well, thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Vita, and thank you, Andy and Steve, for joining us. Really appreciate it. And we will see you all at council like in 10 days or so. All right. Thank you much.